Good morning. Welcome to Be the Solution podcast. And today I'm excited to welcome my friend and guest, Tim Stout from Newman, Georgia. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you for having me.
Excited to talk with you today. You have such an interesting story, your background of before real estate. Let's dive right in with it.
Okay. I am originally from East Tennessee. Johnson City is the closest city from where I'm at. I'm actually from Mountain City. I'd say it's been probably 20 years now. I was a professional fighter, and I moved to Georgia about 12 years ago to be able to train full time. Up there, I was managing like detention centers. Like I was a supervisor manager at a juvenile detention center, and I love that job. But it was it required a lot of my time. And in the way anybody that's worked in detention centers, it's like that's the highest turnover rate of any job in the country. So you have to have a certain amount of staff, a certain amount of kids. And if somebody quit, like I was the high guy on the totem pole, so I couldn't leave. So that caused me to have to miss training. So I come to a crossroads in my life where I either had to train full time or focus on work. And I got an opportunity to move to Peachtree City, Georgia, to open a MMA gym. So I took that opportunity, and so I come here and I was fighting full time. I had 26 professional MMA fights, some professional kickboxing fights, and about, I guess, a little over 8 years ago, I retired from fighting and started selling real estate.
And that's like such a normal transition, Tim, fighting to real estate. How did that happen?
I wanted to be in sales because I was always, no matter what job I had, it was always, you always got one guy that's got to be an overachiever no matter what he does. Like that's in my DNA. So it didn't matter if I was flipping burgers, making pizzas, or working at a detention center. I wanted to be the best at it. And I got tired of being in a job where I made just as much as Joe and John and Janie, and I worked twice as hard as them. So I decided I wanted to be in sales. When I retired, I remember I retired in the ring in Clovis, New Mexico. Like when I after a fight, I was like, I'm done with this. I told my wife I'm done with it, and then she's like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to be in sales. Like that's what I'm going to do. And she's like, what are you going to sell? And I'm like, I don't have a clue, but I'm going to sell something and I'm going to make a commission. And then I own and still own with my wife a MMA gym. And I was teaching cardio kickboxing one day, and there's 3 or 4 ladies who come in the class, and it was what success was. They drove nice cars, they wore nice clothes, they smelled nice, everything that made you look successful. And about 10 minutes into the warm up, I realized that they wasn't out of shape, but their work ethic wasn't there. And right at that time, a big light bulb come up, and I texted my wife, and I'm like, I'm going to sell real estate. And she goes, do you think you can sell real estate? And I was like, I don't think I'm going to have to sell it. I just got to outwork everybody. And she's like, well, you'll do that. And that's been my focus. Like when I got in, it was just like, I want to sell. If I'm going to sell, I might as well sell the most expensive thing somebody's going to buy with the biggest commission. And that was my goal.
So that's going back now, how many years?
At the end of this year, it'll be my 9th year. Or in the summer, it'll be my 9th year. I'll be into it, yeah.
Wow, you've been killing it. You grew fast. You're a great business.
Yeah, we've really, we've been surrounded by really good people, and I've always had coaches in my life. From growing up fighting, it's one thing that I knew. I mean, I was a high level karate guy. I was a high level boxer. Everything I did, I was high level. But you're only as high level as the people you surround yourself with, and I always had good coaches. So getting into real estate, I was like halfway through my first year, because when I first got into real estate, my goal was to sell 1 house a month. That way I could still run my gym full time, and I could go on vacations, and I could save, all these things. And then like my first 6 months, I'd sold like 16 houses. And I'm like, and this is coming from a guy who'd been punched in the face for 15 years. So it's, it's not an easy transition. And I'm like, I think I can do this, but I knew that there are easier ways out there. So I hired a coach within my first year of the business.
Who'd you coach with?
I still coach with him. It's David Kesey.
Okay. Where's he out of?
He's out of LA. He's out of Santa Clarita. The league is his coaching business.
What's he specialize in?
He's a mindset coach, but he also understands business like really, really well. It's like you come to him with a question, or you come to him with anything, he's going to teach you how to come up with a solution best for you. Like he don't give you anything. It's like you come to the problem, he's the guy that's like, let's talk about that. And then you're talking, and then you come up, and then you're halfway through it, and you're like, I know what I'm supposed to do now. So he's really good at getting you to answer your own questions, and that's been pivotal for my business because I've been able to grow wherever. And he's got such a good business mind. He's able to keep me on track. And for the first 4 or 5 years I was with him, we doubled every year. And it's hard to double once you get to the big numbers, but we're still attempting that.
Double every year. That's a lot of growth.
Yeah. And I'm the guy that I'm never going to be satisfied. So I want to continue to grow, and not for selfish reasons, not because I want to be, well, I do want to make more money, absolutely, but I want to affect more people's lives. I want to have, 30 agents underneath me that are working, that I'm affecting their lives, that I'm able to influence them, and I'm able to give them the life that they want. That's what I want out of business is that it's, you want to make money in the beginning, but then you make money and you're like, money's important, but it's not the end all be all. Like I always tell people at the end, when I'm laying in a casket, I want 100 people lined up and being like, if it wasn't for that guy, like that's the speech I want given. That's what I want to leave. So I spend every day trying to allow that to happen.
It's a shame we can't hear that, right?
Yeah.
Gotta tell people today. But it's interesting because I feel the same way. There's only so much real estate you can sell, right? Then it's like, let's teach other people how to fish, and let's show them that they can provide for their families in a high way. And we're helping and assisting people that may not have had another opportunity elsewhere, right?
And I've been able to do that with several people, like pulling them from jobs that were dead end that are not going to get them anywhere. Because one thing is once I can teach them to sell real estate, I can teach them the business side of it. And what people need to realize is business is 95% the same. It doesn't matter if we're selling hamburgers or we're selling real estate. The 95% of business is business, and the 5% is the intricacies of your business. So I can teach them the 95% because the secret to making money is learning how to do it. And once you learn how to do it, you're never going to forget it. And that's what I'm able to teach people, and that's what I pride myself in. Because you get all of your life. What do you do on the side? I'm like, you should be so busy. You don't have a side. You don't have to have it. Investing is your side, and that's what I try to teach you. Because I'm passionate. I'm like you about real estate, about rental properties and flipping. That's what I try to get them to put their money in. Because I think that you shouldn't even be in real estate if you're not looking at buying it.
That's, I think, one of the hardest things for real estate agents to do.
What is?
So I don't know. It's like, the shoemakers, kids that have holes in their shoes.
Yeah.
Mentality.
And they know the importance of it. So it's weird.
It is weird. It's weird. I think it's sometimes scary for people. We can talk to people how to buy, how to invest. But I think it's scary. It's another business.
Yeah.
And it's another business model. And unless you have process and systems around it, it could be a hot mess handling tenants. So, and that takes a business mind. Not everybody, has that. You can do sales, but business is a little bit different. So you have to grow, you have to learn, you have to get uncomfortable, right?
And you have to realize where you're at. It's like if you're a square peg, I don't stick you in a round hole. And I've got to realize, like with me, like you're talking about dealing with tenants. I'm not good at that. I listen to everybody's sob story. Like I do that. So I started a property management business, and I hired a property manager who takes zero crap off anybody. Like she's that person for me because I need that, because I'm a square peg. I'm not going to fit in that hole. And I know I'm not. And no matter how much learning, training, experience I have, even if I got good at it, I wouldn't be comfortable doing it. So just like we were talking about hiring people and changing people's lives, it's like that's what we've got to look for. We look at square pegs, stick them in square holes. We can't stick a salesperson and try to convince them to be an administrator. Like it's not going to work, and vice versa. So it's able to find the hole that people need to fit in. And some people are never going to be business owners, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just that's their hole. That's where they're good at, and that's you that can run a business. We empower them to do their thing and allow them to create wealth that way.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we were talking a little bit behind the scenes, and you have a new agent boot camp that you do. So let's talk a little bit about that, of how that gets the agents prepared for success.
Okay, we have it's a 3-week agent success boot camp. So when people come on, we have one of our agents, and she onboards them and she puts them through the 3-week training. And that's everything from who we are as a culture, like what we believe in, because we're not just selling houses, and we don't want anybody who can sell a house. If you don't care about the community, if you don't care about giving back, and if you're not interested in the machine growing and not just you're not a fit for us. So that's when we go through that. And then we start with skills training. I mean, everything you do from A to Z, from answering the phone, what to say, how to best advise somebody, when somebody should buy, when they shouldn't, because not everybody's a buyer. And it's our job as professionals to let people know if we don't think they should be buying right now. And that allows them to get through the 3 weeks, because we teach them systems, procedures, boomtown, everything that we use. And then after that, I have an agent success manager whose job is to meet with them weekly to make sure that everything they're doing to reach their goals, all their KPIs, are being hit so they can hit their goal. And so it's a level of commitment and a level of success, that allows everybody to hit. And that's one reason, like even with new agents, our success rate of agents coming in the first year and hitting 25 deals is the normal. Like it's not only normal, it's expectation, because it can be done. And we do that a lot.
No doubt. 2 deals a month is not very hard to do when you have the systems, the leadership, and the processes in place in order for that to happen. And I think that's the beauty of being on a team. You can plug right into what you've built over the last almost decade and come in, right, with very little expense or any overhead. And I think that the way of the future really is going to be these big teams working in a team environment. What are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely, because it's hard to compete. No matter, you have to have a unique selling proposition, no matter if you're an individual agent or a team. But it's people can't compete with a team, because let's say you are the best. You can't be the best at everything. 100%. We all know that. So when you're great at sales, you're going to lack with administration. You're going to lack with contract to close. But with a team, like my selling proposition to agents is like, let's pretend like we're a ham sandwich and you're a 6-year-old. Like you hate the bread. The bread is the part that sucks. The bread is the top and the bottom. So everything in the middle is the good stuff. And that's what real estate is. Procuring the lead, that's hard. That is difficult. Nobody wants to do that. So don't do that. Skip that bottom piece. I'll take care of the bottom piece of bread. You can write contracts. That's the meat. That's the fun part. And then I'm going to take that top piece of bread and I'm going to take it all the way to closing for you. So I'm taking all the bread from you and I'm letting you eat the meat and cheese. And you're like, this is awesome. I'm like, yes, this is my contribution to you. So I take away the two hardest parts of the business, and I do that. I hire that. I have administration to do it. People who only do that. I had one contract to close person who closed 300 houses last year. One. And that because that is her thing. She don't drop the ball. That's the only thing she knows. She knows the contracts inside and out. And in our lead systems, we've got that dialed in, nailed in, and our phone rings all day. People want to buy houses, and that's what they get.
That's a great position to be in.
Absolutely.
People calling, I want to buy or I want to sell something, right?
That's that. When you get the stance in your market, like you're the expert, like that happens, and we're working every day to do that. And it's not easy because we all, like me and you, we have 15 different hats we wear, and it's which hat do we wear longer today?
I don't know. The one that I'm not good at, I hope I can wear the least.
Yeah, I get it.
Only because that hat cost me 4 times the amount of time because I suck at it.
Pass that hat off.
Right. Oh, I have a list. Right now we're focusing on, I want to overstaff. What are your thoughts about that?
I love the idea of staff because the staff is the machine. Salespeople and leads are the gasoline. I have to have the gasoline for my engine to run, but it's easier to find gasoline than the engine. And I have, like, my administration team is like, that's the ones that I pay top dollar for. I have a contractor close agent, listing managers, listing manager assistants, my agent success manager. Like, these are like grade A people who are overly paid, master's degrees, lots of experience, because that's what keeps everything going. If I get that dialed in, agents are going to stay because agents are coming in and it's so smooth and their support is so heavy. It's like, and I'm like, you get the thing, well, I don't want to give you my commission. Like, okay, well, let's talk about that. Your contract to close is going to be this. Lead capture is going to be this. This CRM is going to, you name everything. And then they realize they're getting the good deal of it. Like, yeah, you're at a 50% profit margin and you have no expenses. You got to pay your realtor fees. That's it. We take care of everything else.
Yeah.
And then they see your value.
Yeah. We have the same thing over here. I said, you're going to spend $350,000 in advertising and marketing this year. People don't make that in a year.
Yeah, people.
99% of people in the real estate industry don't even make the ad spend.
You're exactly right. And people, I think once they sit down and listen and they open their eyes to realize that we're not, people feel like the team leader is just money hungry and they want this. And it's like, it costs a lot to run the business. It's a whole lot to run the business. And of course they need to be upside, but there's months that me and you can talk about where we don't make anything or where we write checks and we're negative. But that's something that's not discussed. And most individual agents, they can't write a check for money they don't have. So it's really hard to get that momentum because the team thing is here to stay now. It's the team thing will probably end up replacing brokerages and eventually in some sort. And it's difficult to get all that going and get that momentum. You might as well ride the wave. I tell people every day, I'm like, do you want your name on a sign or do you want a fat wallet? Because that's a difference. Like, the only reason you don't want to work for me is because my name's on the sign and you got an ego issue. Put your ego aside and let's get your wallet fat, because that's what you're here for.
Right.
But some people can't get through that.
So do you do with your agents leadership, accountability? I know there's some things that are really important to you and that are hot topics.
Yeah, we meet 2 or 3 times a week. I meet just with the administration and the leadership, and then I meet with the agents a couple times a week. And it's trainings, and it's this is like expectations and what I would try to, because I read 60 books a year, 50 to 60 books a year, and I'm going to, I've been to all these trainings with you, and so I'm always trying to learn so I can bring what's cutting edge to them. So it's like everything that I learn, I get to learn it twice because I'm teaching it. So I'll learn it from all these coaches and these seminars I go to, and then I get to coach them with it, and it allows me to learn it twice, but it also gives them a cutting edge that other agents in the market are not having, because not a lot of agents are going to spend. I mean, I spend probably $80,000 to $100,000 a year on self-development between coaching, seminars, and all these things I do to improve my life, improve my mental capability to perform at a higher level. They get all that for free. So that's another added benefit that's not discussed in the team also.
I have $1 million plus I have out in over the years in coaching and training. It's probably that, I'm guessing, close to it, right?
That's why you're a killer.
Yeah, well, I stay in a room with people that are much smarter than I am.
You should stay in.
I just heard a little post this morning that said, so I don't want to be them because I'm me, but I watch and I take the action, right? Sometimes it takes time. You don't always take the action. And I think a lot of times people are scared, afraid. One of the things I think too is limiting beliefs. that it won't. Can I do that? Will it work for me? I think we get caught up in that a lot. And I know to talk about myself, but
The difference between the successful people and not successful people is action. It doesn't matter if it's limiting beliefs. It doesn't matter if it's self-doubt, whatever it is. The only difference between
yeah,
you and someone not succeeding is action, because you can educate yourself from a book, but you learn from your experiences. So I have to be trying and trying. It's like when I come into our leadership meeting and I'm like, hey, we're going to do this. And it's like they know it's going to be a 3 to 6 month thing to see if it falls flat or if it brings fruit, that everything is tracked to grow. But one thing I'm not as scared of action, because I'm not as scared of failure, because I realize every time you fail, you move a little bit forward. Because winning, you don't learn from winning. You win or you learn. And I'd rather be putting myself like in the smartest people in the room. I've got the biggest ears, so I'm going to listen. I've got to give you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen and quit talking. And that's how you do that. But it's the action takers that's going to succeed in life.
taking the action, making the calls. I said, is it comfortable all the time? No. We're not sitting here with a warm and fluffy blanket and pillows and being coddled. You got to take that action and focus. It's like extreme focus and discipline of taking the action, regardless if all week nothing happened. It sucked.
I agree, 100%.
So tell me what book you're reading with your leadership team and what you've implemented lately.
We usually don't do a lot of reading, but I'll read.
You're reading.
I just went over, like I got my new podcast coming out today, or the new episode. It's Never Split the Difference. And that's a Chris Voss book. He was the head international FBI negotiator for hostages for years. And he talks about negotiations as everything from trying to get your kid to eat broccoli to trying to get the people not to blow up people in the bank because they're already caught. And he talks about the psychology behind it and how negotiating is nothing but trying to get you to believe what I believe, because you're irrational. Most people are irrational in most situations because they only see things from their point of view. To only see something from your point of view makes you irrational because you're not thinking of other people's point of view. So it's how to convince them without telling them they're wrong. So it's a super good book on negotiating. It's a super good book. When I meet people in the street, I've got to convince them they like me, to do business with me. And so it's a constant negotiating. So that's one we've been working on. And then we went through Rocket Fuel, Gino Wickman. That's a book about integrators and innovators and how you need that piece. Like every successful business owner has the integrator with them. You may see it and you may not see it, but the visionary creates the vision, but then you have the integrator running behind, taking care of all these little things. And if it wasn't for mine, there's no way I would have had success like I have, because I'm a shotgun approach, guys. I see it's a great idea. I get it started, and now I'm doing another project. And I need somebody to take this project and run with it and get it going, get it built out, get the systems. And then by the time they're done looking this way, I'm already off this project, starting on something else. But it allows us to create really good steam.
So when you go to an event, you come back, is everybody's head going to start to blow up?
My director of operations, actually, that's the one I'm meeting with, and we're talking about what I'm implementing, when I'm implementing it. And yeah, because they know when I leave, I come back with a lot of ideas.
Everybody was always scared when I came back. I stopped. So instead of coming back and like doing the dump, I just slack. I just put it while I'm there. I'm slacking. Got this idea, and I just put it in a little channel, so I'm not dumping like 100 ideas. We only need a few good ones, right?
I usually pick the top 2, then I'll have like 4 or 5 runners up, and I'll start with the top 2, and if I have time, I'll hit the runners up.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I used to want to do 100 things. Now I'm like, I'm just going to pick a couple, and we're going to run with those, and then we're going to get those mastered before we add anything else.
I was the same way. Like I started a lot of little fires and didn't nothing. There was no bonfires. It was all a bunch of little ones.
Get a little kindlings, right, all over.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I think as you mature as a business owner, and I think that that's part of it. That's part of, we're not going to go squirrel, squirrel, squirrel and try to do too many things. It's like our superpower is our focus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
do you run your business off of the EOS system?
I do not. That's another that's a rocket fuel thing, right? That's a Gino Wickman, the EOS,
Yeah.
the Entrepreneur Rating System. I've read the book, and but my business has already been created. Like, I guess I run it like, my first business was a gym business, and I help manage detention centers. So we're very like everybody. One thing I do really well is, like, when it's your job, it's your job. I don't micromanage it. Like, it takes a minute for you to get in that position before, like, I'll hire you for this position, then I question you for 3 months, and then I realize every time I ask Maria a question, she's got it. So then I back out and then I handle it. And then now my director of operation, it's her job to make sure everybody's doing their thing. I've probably not read enough of the EOS to know if I run it that way, but everybody's got, like, all the administration have people they deal with, and they have certain tasks they have to hit, and they're held accountable for it. That's how I run mine.
Yeah, I think the EOS it's a really great model to follow. I haven't implemented that. There's the trainers that will come in and do a monthly training on it. And it's about an 18-month, from what I hear anyway, transition. But the people that I know that run the business from it, you're game changing. So I have it in my want to do tabled for towards the end of this year, but I'm still building out, the team that I want to have. So not ready for that. I think also, Tim, like, thinking about it and saying, yeah, I'm not ready yet for that, but that's something that I want to do in the future, whatever it is. I think it's an important element in being a responsible business owner.
Building the business first. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think just knowing, like, here's the things that we need to do, and not go forward with anything else until those things are all accomplished.
I tell a lot of my coaching clients the same thing. It's because I got one guy. He's young. He's hungry. He's a retired fighter like myself. He's in the military. Like, he is gun ho. He's all about action. But like I told him, I said, there's certain. Here's the recipe on how to cook the cake. And if it says you need to be at 400 degrees for 40 minutes, doesn't mean you can do 800 degrees for 20. That doesn't mean that. And I said, if you get one thing in front of another, you're going to burn your cake. It's going to be useless, and you're going to have to start over. And I think that's sort of what you're alluding to, is like, you have to have everything. There's an order for everything. You need to get one thing set up until it's established. Like, getting it set up is not even good enough. You need to set it up. You need to establish it. You need to make sure that's implemented. You have somebody that's owning that, and then you move on. And I think that's a lot of people's problems. To what you were saying is people start a bunch of things that don't get started, or they're trying to turn the oven up 700 degrees to cook it for less time when all it does is scorch the cake.
That's a good analogy. I like that. How long have you been coaching?
3 years.
How did you start doing that?
Coach David. I've worked with him, and we built a really big business, and I do really well dealing with people that are hard-headed or want to build a big business. So I've got a knack for, like, he's the guy. He's the intellectual guy. He gets through to you mentally, and sometimes people just need to be told to what they're doing is wrong. Like, you're wrong. You need to do this, and I'm really good at that. So that's how I started. I guess problem clients. Or people who wanted to build a big business. Like, there's so many people, like, they want to build a business that does 400 transactions like mine does. And, he sold real estate, but he's a real estate coach. He coaches, techniques and skills. So we play really well off of it. And a lot of people want a track record. So, they can pass them off to me, someone doing 400 deals a year. And it's like, oh, okay, this guy's done it. He knows how to make that cake. And in all actuality, like, Coach David helped me get there, but a lot of people can't see past that. So it's good.
That's great. How much?
It's helping.
So you spend a lot of your time coaching your agents and coaching other agents.
Yeah.
To take up the majority of your days.
It does. I do, like I said, I'm not in sales anymore, so I don't have to be prospecting that much. I still prospect because that's what makes the business grow, but I prospect different. I'm prospecting for, I can, everybody's like, you teach a man to fish, he eats his whole life. You give him a fish, he eats for a day. So what I do is I hunt for whales. I hunt for people who's going to send me multiple businesses a year, people that's very well connected, that's investors, people who are going to bring lots of fish, like more than one meal. That's what I prospect for, because those are longer term relationships, and those need a little more nurturing and stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like working in the investment sector?
I love investors. I'm an investor myself. I love working with investors. One, because investing and selling real estate is two different things. And I always tell people, like, well, I've got an agent. Like, well, how many rental properties do they own? And like, because it's different. Like, if they don't understand, because it's different than buying a house. Like I can buy this house and it can turnkey rent. You're like, okay, great, but what's your value add? Like, you need to be looking for these things. And so it becomes more than just a commission check for me. Now it's my personal mission that if I do this guy right, and I teach him how to do this, and he starts making money, it's going to go from one investment to 10. So, and I'm going to be there the whole way. So it's my job to educate them through the entire process. And it's not about emotions. It's like, if I'm showing you a rental property and I'm like, Maria, the numbers don't make sense. It's not like, oh, I love this house, my kids love it. It's like, it's not that. It's okay. It makes sense. Okay, we get through the inspection. We need this, 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 and this. We're not willing to do that. Okay, we're not willing to buy it because now the numbers don't make sense. And I love that part of it too, because it's very unemotional. It's very, this is the number and this is driven. And I love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Investors are great to work with. You have a lot of long-term investors. I've been in this 17 years. So clients I've been working with for 15 years.
And the investors are really good. And a lot of people have a wrong impression with investors. Like, well, you just write a bunch of low ball offers. And I'm like, you have no value to add. That's why you're writing low ball offers. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I'll tell the investor, like, did you work with investors? I was like, I work with investors that needs advice, that needs guiding. And I said, I'm not going to write it with an investor who wants to write 30 offers and you'll come in $30,000 lower on everything. I said, I'm not going to work with that guy because it's not worth my time. Because one, that guy doesn't, no matter how much he knows, he doesn't think he needs advice. So it's like, I come in and I study these things, and I come in, we evaluate properties, and we come out what makes sense. The worst thing you can do is write low ball offers, and then you offend somebody. Once you offend them, you're done. The deal's done. You're never getting your best deal. So it's like trying to teach them that strategy than just, shotgunning a bunch of low offers.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. I don't know. I think that I haven't thought about that, because if I'm saying that we're going to buy this, I'm going to tell you the number we're going to buy it at. And it's competitive here still with investment opportunities, because there's not as many as there used to be. So, and there's more investors.
Absolutely. Right now, it's a hard time to invest. And then I encourage my guys, I'm like, you need to be looking at off-market properties. You need to be finding before they hit the MLS, because it's not a deal once it hits the MLS right now. Like, the properties are selling pretty fast. And but I've been able to yesterday I closed on one I'm going to flip. And I'm a buy and hold guy. Like, I want to buy and hold. I want to buy and hold, but this one's going to be a flip because I'm going to end up having like $80,000 in equity in it. And so I can turn that around to turn it into more rentals. So I'm going to flip it. But I was able to buy that one off market, and I've bought 4 since November, and all those are like on the MLS, but I was able to get it like several percentage off the price. And basically, because I'm coming in and I'm like, what does the seller need? And I'm asking the agents. I got a good relationship with the agent, and one of them, the agent's like, well, she wants top dollar. I was like, no, that's what she wants, but what does she need? And she goes, I don't know. I've not asked her. So I come in, it's listed at 160. I come in at like 130. And she goes, Tim, we got multiple offers. And I'm like, I understand, but I said, this is where it makes sense for me. And I said, it's going to be all cash. I can close in, a week, whatever they need. So she convinced me it wasn't going to work. The next day she called me. She goes, Tim, she's got her other house under contract. She needs moving expenses pretty fast. So I was like, I'll tell you what. I said, I can close in a week, and I'll let her stay there for the rest of the month. She's like, done, perfect. So I got $30,000 off, and because and it even appraised for more than list price, I was able to get that. And I bought a house, another one right before that. I ended up paying. It was listed at 130, and I paid 135. And the lady was the agent I was working with was not a good agent to work with. Very, very like cocky, condescending, and probably one that sells like 10 houses a year, but thinks they're like, God's gift to real estate. And we closed on that property. And even at closing, she's like, I can't believe, or the seller says, I can't believe my agent got you to pay $5,000 over asking. Like, and I'm like, you know your neighbor's house? I'm like, yeah. I said, I own that one too. She goes, well, my house is nicer. I said, that house just appraised for 170. I was like, you left $40,000 on the table. And then they're all big bright eyed. And I'm like, it is what it is, because I know the market. It's okay, because asking price and its true value are two different things. And it's two different things for an investor and a home buyer too. So I try to find those creative little ways to get in there. But I love working with investors.
Isn't that the truth, though? Asking price and true value are two different things.
Yeah.
Being able to understand that, educating the clients, buyers, sellers, investors, what that means. Who cares if there's a bidding war if you're getting it for still less than what the true value of that property is?
Well, who cares if you're paying $20,000 over asking or over the true value if you're going to live in it for 20 years? It's not going to matter.
Exactly.
Me and you're having a conversation in 10 years from now, and we're going to be saying, you remember when we was doing that podcast? Imagine if we bought every house that we saw at that time. We'd be trillionaires. And it's the truth. Real estate is the most forgivable asset class in investing. All you got to do is buy and wait. Even if you make a stupid purchase and you wait long enough, it wins. It's like you're the casino. You're going to win long term. You just have to do it.
You have to do it. So you train on your agents on you have to do it. How do you do that? How do you build the confidence in them?
Script training, dialogues, and it means a lot when they show up and they're with Stout Associates. I mean, we're the number one team around for several years now. We give back a lot to the community. We do a lot of events. Once I'm done here, we're going to an animal shelter and doing a video and submitting a check to get more attention for them. And we do a lot of that stuff. So people want to work with us because we give so much back to the community, and we have a trusted record of 5-star reviews, people happy. And so when I've got a new agent coming in and they're like, I work with Stout Associates, I don't have a lot of sales, but I do have the best team, south of Atlanta backing me. And it's like, they can breathe. It's a fresh breath.
Yeah. That's
confidence.
I think too, like that every time you have a little win, you get a little bit more confidence. That's why it's important. I like how you have your agents in the system 60 days, 2 deals. I actually mine's 90 and 2, but maybe I'll have to change it to 60. And so when we want everybody to do a minimum of 2 a month, I mean, that's a requirement to be in our organization. And that's not, so I learned over the years, right? If you have one person who's doing whatever, and everybody else who's following the system, the one person that's doing whatever, which is not the system, say it's our minimum's 25 a year and they're doing 10, that messes up the whole entire system.
And talking to like business owners and stuff, what people don't realize too is like, well, they did close 10 deals, so I've got that. And you're like, no, I could have given those same leads to a different agent and get 15 more deals. There's an opportunity cost and there's an opportunity lost. And a lot of people never play into the lost opportunity. Like if I have 10 agents who can close 25 deals a year and I got one agent closing 10, I'm losing 15 deals somewhere because she or he is getting the same opportunities as everybody else. They're just not stepping up to the plate like everybody else. So now I've got to back 15 commission checks out of it because that's what I lost. And so people become if business owners, team leaders can think from that, they realize people are they're a loss a lot quicker than they're a gain. Because a lot of people are really quick to say, well, they did bring 10 deals to the table. And they're like, what about the lost opportunity? You lost.
Well, and they're also stealing from the company
Absolutely.
because they're stealing from that opportunity from somebody else who could have used that opportunity and who could have made money for their family, right?
Who needed it.
Who needed it, who needed it more even.
Yeah.
And if you're only wanting to do the 10 because you're out traveling the world, although, hopefully days of that will be back soon, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
It's just you have to hold your standards. And I think that's something that, is extremely critical in growing an organization and that everybody's on the same playing field.
Agreed.
No special deals, no special.
Yeah, we both probably learned that lesson. Like it's like everybody's treated the same. Everybody has the same expectations. They're the same. Everything has to be done. You've got to do this many calls. You've got to have this many meetings. Like everything's the same. But the one person you give a special deal will ruin your organization.
Exactly. So Tim, what excites you? What gets you excited on the daily?
Allowing people to grow, like seeing what I can do to let them grow. Having people like reach out to me, like even other agents that I'm competing with will reach out to me for coaching. Like, hey, I'm having a big issue with this. What do you think? I'm like, let's meet. Let's have coffee. Let's talk about it. And that allows me to bring opportunity to somebody who will, in theory, I think, I'll never benefit from that. But that's somebody that's in my market that's going to be supporting small businesses. That's someone that's in my market that I'm going to have a offer in front of them one day, and they're going to be multiple offers, and they're going to be like, "It's great to work with." So I try to do that. So anybody I can help, that's what I love to do.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about the small businesses and what you do for them. I love all of that work you do. How'd that come about, and what does it look like?
Well, I own several small businesses. I mean, I have an MMA gym. I have a property management business, a hair salon. My wife's getting ready to start a contracting business. I own several rental homes. I own a real estate brokerage and a real estate team. And I just started a real estate school in Tennessee. So I got partners in on them, but I've got all these small businesses. And I realized, 5-6 years ago that I had a niche for social media, that I understood it on a deeper level than most people in my area do. I understand how to reach them. And I'm like, I can take, I've got 8,000 followers on my Facebook page. I've got two accounts that are 5,000. I have Instagram, got several. So I can do a video for these small businesses and bring attention to them that they're never going to get, that they're not going to be able to pay for because of the amount of the attention they're going to be able to get. And so I started doing it like with cell phones, like, hey, film this. I'll be like, hey, this is Tim. And now I have a guy who follows me around for videos and content now, because that's another hat that I've been able to take off this year, because I have other money producing activities. If it's not the number one money producing activity for me, I pass that hat off, which gives me time to produce more. So I pass a hat off and I make more money because I'm able to do what I want to do or what I need to do, not what I want to do. But I interview them. It's the only thing about me is, hey, this is Tim with Tim Stout Associates, Compass Real Estate, your trusted real estate expert for Cowee and Fayette County. I'm here with, and then it's all about their business. Today we're starting added to everything else we're doing, but we're starting a nonprofit. We're going to start featuring nonprofits, and because there's several things I'm passionate about. It's animals, kids, and elderly people. Those are the things that can't take care of themselves, and I feel like I should be their protector almost. So we're going to start doing those. But with the small businesses, I mean, these videos get seen 10,000 times,
Yes.
and get a lot of good interaction. And if you've seen it, you're reminded of it. And if you've not seen it, now you know of it. And it allows us to be able to grow their business. And I'm the big shop local guy too. Like I'll overpay for something at your shop than ordering it offline, because I want that money to stay in my community. People may order things from Amazon, which I'm guilty of it too, but I can go to the store next door, pay $3 more. That $20 stays in my community, goes in pockets of business owners that I know, and it circles into the community over and over and over, instead of just going to LA, Seattle, New York. It goes somewhere else in some CEO's pocket. it allows the money to stay in my community. And I'm a big advocate about that because I've got multiple small businesses and I know how it is not to make anything, wondering how you're going to pay your mortgage. And because I've been that side of small business too. And so from my platform, I'm able to help. So I love the small business stuff.
I love that. I love all of that you do. How did you not decide to do it, but how long have you been doing it?
The small business stuff, probably 4 years. We started with like the cameras. Like then I remember I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna get the big fancy cameras, and I went and bought the big fancy cameras, and I used that for a little bit. Then I realized it was so much easier just to do it from the iPhone. Then I do the iPhone, and then I went back to the cameras, and now I've got a guy. But we've been doing it. We started off with like just small business Saturdays, and we post a small business. Then we did now we're doing hometown hotspots. I did the American Dream, interviewing small business owners. And so I've had several little series that come out and work with, but and several of them I've hit twice, 3 times, because it's places that I'm passionate about. And I'm like, let me bring you some business. And they love it. I did Foodie Fridays. That was one of the most popular ones that I did.
What?
Foodie Fridays.
Yeah, I love that one.
I would sit down at a restaurant and I'd eat, and then we'd film it all in a 3-minute video. We'd comprise it, but then I rate them on taste, service, and price. That's what everybody wants to know, because the biggest argument you have with your husband is, where are we going to eat tonight? And so it's like, well, Tim said to eat here, and I only went to places that I knew I could give 5-star service. Like I didn't want to go to a place and give them 4 stars. I did not want to do that.
Right.
And the reason I started doing that way is because I'd call these places and they would get so nervous. They'd be like, well, we don't really want to do that. So I got a camera guy. I just started walking in them. And people knew, like, immediately, like when they come in, like they saw me there, they knew what I was there for. And so I got great service. A quick story. I remember I did one at this little restaurant right up the street. We went in, we did it, and 5 stars, 5 stars, 5. Everything was great, perfect. And about 2 weeks later, I noticed I got a share on the page from it. I'm like, okay, because usually it's like that first 5 days, it's like shared, 60 times. And I saw it, and it was the manager, and she goes, the second I saw him, I knew the exact reason he was there, and I knew we had to step up our game. And it was inspirational for me, because I'm like, she knew what I was there, and it forced her to level up. And she was just so thankful for all of it and stuff. It was just, that's able to help a lot of people. So I'm very passionate about small businesses.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's so much fun. Do you love doing it?
I do. That's probably my favorite part. That and the podcast. That's my favorite part of being able to do video stuff, video and audio stuff. That's definitely it.
So you have a guy now, a video guy?
I do. He trains at my gym.
Oh.
And he'd asked me like a year ago. He goes, Professor, he said, if you ever need me to do videos for your houses or whatever, let me know. And I'm like, no, I got a guy. And I still got a guy that I do. Like if I do high end stuff, I got a guy that I bring in. That's all he does, and he does really well. And so this year I was thinking that I need a guy to do all of this, and I'd reached out to him. I was like, man, what are you doing nowadays? He goes, man, I'm working at this business. I was like, it's not what you want to do, is it? He goes, no. I said, well, what are you making there? He told me. I was like, I'll pay you that. Follow me around all day, do videos. This is my expectations. Can you do it? He goes, I'll be there next week. I'm like, yes, sir. And now he does it. He does a great job. And I'm teaching him how to market through video, which is not something you learn in video school. Like, because you can do a great video, but is it capturing the attention? Is it allowing people to want to engage? Are they wanting to watch till the end? And I can teach him that through everything that I've learned through videos. So it's a good trade-off too. Not only is he getting paid, he's also getting priceless education.
So he follows you around all day, or?
He's in our little office area, and he'll be editing, and like I'll come out after this one, and we'll do a little short video. We've been doing 1-minute videos. We've said we're going to do one a day for 2 weeks, and then we're going down the road to do our animal shelter one, and then he'll edit those and he'll produce them, and so like our podcast will be aired today, and the other one will be aired Friday, and then we'll have a short video every day for the next 2 weeks.
So how much content are you putting out a week?
I want at least 5 videos a week, and I'll do a couple business posts besides just listed, just solds. I like doing little quote cards because I love to be the one inspiring people. So I'll do like a picture of me doing something and then have some kind of quote on it. That gets a lot of really good attention. And then on my personal stuff, I'll show every day that I train, I show a picture of the class, basically because the people I'm proud of that got up 6 a.m. to train with me. And then I'll do like a technique of the day.
Hmm.
And, a technique of the day, it's some kind of self-defense thing that anybody can use, but people are not aware of. And that gets a lot of really good positive attention because I get a lot of like, private messages. People like, man, me and my daughter watch this every day. We feel more comfortable. I'm hearing things like that. And I'm like, that's what I want to hear because I can affect people's lives through sales, through business, through mindset coaching, and through like self-defense, because that's something I've did since I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So I told my wife when we got married, I said, there's 3 things I do well. I can sell it, I can pick it up, and I can beat it up. I said, other than that, I was like, don't expect me to fix things. I don't know how to change oil. I don't know how to change a tire. I was like, I may do a light bulb. That's about it. But she's super handy. She's actually a contractor. So
Your wife is?
Oh yeah.
Is she fixing houses or?
Yes, she does all her renovations on her stuff.
Wow. How cool.
Yeah. She walks in all 5 foot tall over and just starts bossing people around. She loves it.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what's your goal this year for purchasing?
I want 8.
You want 8?
I want 8 out of the same HELOC that I have 0 money in. That's my goal. And I've been able to do it. This next one will be 4 already, from November to November.
Can you repeat that, Tim, for us? You want 8?
8 purchased out of the same HELOC with no money out of my pocket. So I'm buying, renovating, rent them, then I'm refinancing and being able to pull all my money back out. Like if I've got 150 in it, I pull all 150 back out and I have 0 money in it. And then I start cash flowing $400 to $500 a door from that.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's where it is. You're building wealth.
And and doing it that way, my ROI is infinite. I have 0 money in. I did a property probably about last year at this time. I bought the property for $50,000. Like nobody would touch it because it was rough. I did a $50,000 to $60,000 renovation on it. I had 110 on it. It appraised for 170. I pulled 140 out of it. I made 30 grand. I made 30 grand by refinancing it. And then I make $500 more than the mortgage every month. So, and now I'm able to build wealth that way. But that's my goal. And it's my goal. It's almost like a mindset thing. Like, I can buy these properties, but it's like now a new challenge. How do I buy them with no money in it? I met with a guy in Atlanta 2 months ago who's buying a property a day with 0 money. He's not using his own money.
How?
Partners, joint ventures, creative financing. This guy, like, he gets it. Like, just talking to him, I'm like bright-eyed, my jaw dropped just because he gets it.
Wow.
I'm gonna get him on my podcast soon. He's smart. When he does, I'll make sure you're on that one or send it to you because
I would love to see that. Is he in the real estate business? Is he an agent or?
No, he's in the business.
He's in the business.
He owns lots of businesses. I mean, lots of money. Like he basically started doing this because he was buying properties, and somebody told him the only reason he's able to get all these properties is because he's a millionaire. He's got all this money. So he's like, okay, I'll show you. So I mean, literally, like, follow him on Facebook. He literally buys 4 to 5 houses a week. Just closed. Then he explains how he did it. You're like, oh man. So there's definitely levels to this. And
what's his name?
His first name is Abraham. I'll send you his information.
Okay, I just want to look him up.
Yeah, they're super sharp guy.
I love hearing, like, nothing's impossible.
Unless you believe it is.
That's right. Unless you believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much opportunity. Like getting up every day and being grateful and thankful for all the blessings that we have in our life and coming from a state of abundance is so important, because then you're on a different vibration level.
Absolutely.
And you're bringing those people on that same level. They're finding you.
I tell people you have 2 types of people in your life. You have ladders or you have anchors, and there's no in between. You have people who elevate you, who want to elevate you, and you have people who want to pull you down. and you've got to surround yourself with people who want to pull you up. And if they're like people like, well, they're okay where I'm at. I said, they're an anchor. Like they're pulling you down or they're keeping you where you're at. And you want to be surrounded by people that are elevating you. But do not climb a ladder that you're not willing to reach down and pull somebody up from. And because so many people want to start pulling people up from their ladder, but the people have their hands to their side. They don't want to go nowhere. They're okay where they're at. You don't reach for those. You reach for the ones that are reaching for you. And I think that's how you get somewhere in life. You lift just as many people up that are helping you.
Yeah. And it's okay if you don't get anything back from it. So it's interesting. I helped a lot of people, trained a lot of great agents that don't work with me anymore for various amounts of reasons. But there's one particular one that made all of the other ones, it's okay because of what has come from that. Right?
Yeah.
Like you don't always, most of the time you don't get anything from it, but sometimes you say there's something that happens with one person that makes all of those other ones, I don't want to say doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It always matters to some extent, but it's how much it does matter to you.
Yeah, well, you don't want to give it energy.
Absolutely. And just I've got a new agent that I hired 4 or 5 weeks ago that was referred to me from another team leader, and brand new agent. And the guy's kind of like, you're new agent. I don't really work with new agents. I don't have time to train. But if you want to be on a team, you need to call Tim and send her to me. Great agent now. And very loyal, but it's just that guy's because that agent knew what I was looking for. And because we've had good interactions, he was like, go, because he cared about that agent. So that was good. That was a good feeling to be able to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. That's it sounds like you have a lot of amazing, amazing things going on. Everybody in your market that are new should want to join your organization because it's multifaceted. It's not just about real estate.
It starts on real estate, but then I get to bring them down a journey of other things, other opportunities. And that's where it's at, because there's not many rooms you can be in where you're sitting in here with people selling 50 to, you're only as good as the people you hang out with. We've already discussed that. You're sitting in a room with 5 people doing 50 deals. Like, where can you do that? Where can you do that with people buying and selling and investing and going back and forth with properties? One of my guys that me and him owns a quadplex together that we went in together. Like I wanted to own it, but I didn't want to manage it. And I'm like, I'll tell you what, this is out of my area for my property manager. I was like, tell you what, I said, I hold the debt. So we pay the down payment. I said, you manage it. Perfect. So he comes in, I hold the debt. He manages it, cuts the grass, everything it needs done, collects rent. Perfect. That's a property I don't have to hear about or talk about. I get a check for every month. That only happened because I know him, because he's here. He's invested in me, so I invest in him.
It's all about relationships at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter at the end if you're by yourself, no matter how high on the mountain you are.
Right. And having, a heart of a servant and being humble.
If you're not humble, you will be humbled. I learned that fighting a lot. A few times
no doubt, Tim.
My dad would say I was bigger than my britches. Like, somebody would show me real quick.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Been there.
We all have.
Been there.
Not everybody.
And anyone that is watching, if you haven't been there, your time will come.
Yes. Be ready for it because it hurts.
Be ready for it. Tim, this has been an amazing time with you this morning.
I appreciate your time.
I've learned so much. I appreciate you and all the work that you do and all the wonderful work you do in your community. And I wish you continued success. I look forward to seeing you at the next event. I'll be there in May, so hopefully I'll see you then.
If you're going, I'm going.
All right, so sign up.
I'm going to. I'll do it right now.
I'm going to see you in Orlando.
Yep.
In the meantime, have a great couple of months and keep on being the solution.
I appreciate you. Thank you for taking your time to talk to me.
Thank you.